Hi everybody, welcome back to my Boulevard mini album, which is a design team project for Country Craft Creations. And you can get all the supplies there. I'll link it down below. The cut list for this project is available on my blog, and I will also link that down below. It is, of course, free. Just go ahead and get it, and you'll have all your measurements that you need. Today we are going to insert the pages into the book, and we're going to make our hinges, and for that you need a piece of your cardstock 8 7/8 by 5 7/8. You could make it 9 if it's easier to cut. It doesn't matter. 9 is fine. And what I've done, I have an extra score line here, you can ignore that. So you're going to score at 1.5, 1 7/8, 2 3/8, 2 7/8, 3 1/4, 3 3/4, 4 1/4, 4 5/8, 4 1/8, 5 5/8, 6, 6 1/2, 7, and 7 3/8. And all these measurements will be in the cut list. Then I want you to, on one side, put a piece of tape in of each pair of 1/2-inch scores. What you have here is 3/8, 1/2, 3/8, 1/2, 3/8, 1/2, 3/8, 1/2, 3/8. So in one of each pair of halves, put a piece of tape. And then on the other side, put a piece of tape in both of the pairs of halves, and just try to put it fairly close to the middle if you can. Okay? So, and then we are going to, let's see, I'm just looking to see what I have here. I want to make sure I put it in the right place. 3/8, 1/2. Okay. All right, so you're going to fold that, so that the 2 1/2-inch, the first two are together. And you can go ahead and pull up the tape and burnish that. Okay. And then you're going to fold it back on itself. Okay, and this first 3/8 line we're not going to fold on. It's really just to help guide when putting it in the book. Okay. And then we're going to fold the next over, remove the tape, burnish it, and fold it back again. That, and so you want to fold that on itself like that, and then fold it back on itself. Okay, and then we have the last one. And what we've created are all these little fins. There should be 4 of them. And you just want to go ahead and burnish these really, really well. You can see how they're all sticking up like that, right? So you want to burnish these in both directions really well. Take your time. Definitely give them plenty of scores and burnishing, I should say, not scoring, but burnishing, because you really want these to be flexible. The more flexible these are, the more flexible your pages are going to be in your book. Okay. Now, on the back of this here, okay, what we're going to do is I'm going to grab some narrower tape, and we want to put tape in each of these 3/8 inch spaces, and you don't want to put the tape over your seam line. What did I do with my little ruler? Okay. You also don't want the tape to be sticking out at the top or the bottom. Okay. Okay. There's that. Okay, now you want to use whatever the widest tape you have is and just tape these outer sections. 1/2 inch is the widest I have. 1 inch is great for this, but I don't have any. Alright, and let's see, I'm going to trim that off. And I'll use my 1/4 inch. On here. There. I'm just trimming a little of this extra off on this one. There. Okay. Looks good. Those a little bit. All right, now let's grab our cover, and it is going to go in there like that, and we want it centered side to side and top to bottom, and that's where these extra little score lines come in handy, because you can use them to help line things up. Let's see if I do that. Sorry, I'm just going to pull this over where I can see it. It's actually pretty good. All right. And what I'm going to do is contort myself a little bit. Just draw a line right there, okay, just so that I can reline it up pretty easily now that I've got it where I want it. And then we're going to take the tape, but not all of it. Get a tool. Let's just start there. And line it up with the line that we just drew. Double check it. That looks pretty good. And then I'm just going to take the rest of this tape off a little bit at a time and just roll this into place. Just check it to make sure it's straight as you go. place. Okay, looks pretty good. Now we're going to put our pages in. So we will test fit them. And because we did make our binding a little shorter than our pages, they should fit. Of course, this one has so much bulk that, you know what, I think it will be easier. Get that up out of the way if we open that page like that. There we go. That will make it easier to see what I'm doing. And actually, I usually start at the back and work to the front. I don't know why I'm going the other way. All right, well, it's going to fit, but I want to trim these. I always do, and I never remember to do it before I put it in the book. Now let me try that again. All right. There we go. Goodness, I don't know why that was being so fussy. Okay. Now, before I glue anything down, I'm just going to check to make sure it's straight. Go. And pull this one. I used the 3/8 inch tape, and I probably should have used the 1/4, but hopefully it won't show. If it does, I can dust it with a little sheer powder, and that will take any of the shine away. Looks pretty good though. There we go. Retie that. Okay, here's page 1. And this is going to be page 2. Let's test this one for fit. That's fine. Sure it lines up with that one. Okay. Sorry, I just realized I was probably off camera. That lines up nicely with that one. tell already that I'm going to like this book. Not that I make a habit of making books I don't like, but I'm particularly liking this one. Okay, now this one, be very careful to make sure you've got these lined up side to side, because you know you want this nice clean line going across the book. Looks good. Yep. All right. Oh my goodness, I put it in the wrong spot. Hang on. Oh shoot. I put it in between the flap and the page, and you really need to be careful of that. Okay, it's all right. It's fixable. This is what undo is for. I better check that other one. Make sure I didn't do the same thing. Okay. Ooh. Again, we're making sure it's lined up, and it is. It may take a minute to dry. Back of that tape does not want to come. There we go. It still does not want to come. There we go. Okay, now let me go back and check and make sure I didn't do the same thing on this one. I didn't. That's good. Phew. All right, and last one. This one is going here. Alignment. Up. Okay, here we go. Got all of our pages into our book. Definitely need to trim some length off of that. Okay, now it's going to take a little training to get that to to not catch. It'll be fine. It just, sometimes when you have something right along the edge like that, just take, where is my bone folder? Yeah, just take the bone folder and just sort of work it in there, and it'll be fine. I've got a little shine there, so I might dust a little powder there. And this keeps wanting to open because it's catching, the two magnets are catching on each other. But I think once we have some things here, that'll help with that. And then we have that and that. Okay. And, oh, you know what we did not do? We can still do it. I never worked this, when we put the hinge system in, the binding system in, we never worked this seam. Okay. So that we could easily open and close the book. So we definitely want to do that. Go ahead and do that on both the front and the back. Okay, there we go, that's better, and that's good. All right. Oh, you know what? I put the pages in backwards. I've got a seam in my paper, and it's almost invisible though, so I'm not gonna be too concerned about it, because once all the decorations are on the cover, it really won't be visible. However, you shouldn't do that if you have a seam. Try to put it on the back or on the spine. Okay, there we go. All right, so we need to put covers, decorate the covers, and the inside. Decide what we're going to put there, and of course the back. So let me go ahead and pick out a few things, and I will be back and we'll continue. I did cut out a few things, and I also added, I just put a piece of score tape here on the back and just layered a piece of blue and a piece of yellow of the seam binding. Left it pretty long and just attached it to one of these little Tim Holtz bulldog clips. It's one of my favorite closures. It's unobtrusive, it's easy to use. I just like them. But I did that so that I wouldn't forget when I matted the back. And I've got a few things tucked inside that I'm going to pull out, because we're not going to do the inside, we're going to start with the outside. Now, I want to show you what I have here. So I have this blue paper, and I cut some strips. And what I have is 4 strips that are 6 inches long. And honestly, the width doesn't matter that much as long as it's at least, say, 1 1/4 inches. I think mine are about 1 1/2, just to make them easier to deal with. And so you need 4 pieces, whatever that width is. Let me just measure mine so you can see. 1 1/2 by 6. And then you need 2 pieces, 1 1/2 by 2. Those are for the spine. Then you'll need this cut apart from the cut apart sheet. And then you will need 2 strips of this red color that are 1/4 inch wide by 6 inches. Those are for the front. And then you will need this strip from the cut apart sheet. And you will need, actually it goes like that, 1 piece. And I like it to be a continuous piece. So cut your strip, and then from one end, cut off a 2-inch piece, and then right from that same spot, cut a 6-inch piece. This is going to be the spine, this is going to be on the back. Okay, so then ink everything up. And, all right, so we're going to start by attaching the strips to the front cover, and I'm just checking them for width, and they look good. I've already inked everything with the walnut stain. These are going to, the bottom edge of this one and the top edge of this one are going to be covered, so you don't need to ink that. Okay, sorry, I just had to take a piece of tape out of my cat's mouth. Okay, and you want to put this at the bottom and do your best to get these straight. Okay, there's one. And if you remember from my last video, I accidentally put the seam on the front of my album, but it's really not going to be at all visible once I get all these pieces on. All right. Okay. I think I'll turn this book around and put the bottom piece, or rather the top piece on. Did I put that on? I put it on upside down, I think. Hang on. This is sort of directional, this paper. No, I actually had it right. Okay, there we go. Okay. All right. So there is that. Okay, now we have this piece. We want to center this piece on the cover between these two blue pieces. We should have, let's see, I think it's about just under an inch that you need to make it centered. That's about where I want it. Okay, so I'm going to play with it a little bit. I'm using art glitter glue to put this down. Make sure I have this right side up. It is directional. It has writing and stuff on it. Okay, let's see. That's a little lower than I want it. That is 1 15/16. Oh. Okay, there we go. I have a spot right here where it's just lifted up a little bit. Put a little glue. Okay, so there is that. Of course, we're going to decorate that some more, but that's the front. Now, let's take our little 2-inch pieces and let's see. I want to make sure they're facing the same direction as the ones on the front cover. I can't even tell, so I guess it doesn't matter. Oh wait, here's that one. Okay, so that goes like that. Okay. Alright, so then I'm just going to glue this one at the top and the other one at the bottom. You may not be able to see it too well. I don't know if you can see, there's a fair bit on either side of this, but that's just because of the 1/4 inch space on either side of my chipboard. That's it. So it's fine. Okay. Put this at the bottom, and I'm trying to make sure it's lined up with the piece on the front. And of course with the piece that's up at the top. Ooh, that looks a little crooked. It's not, but it looks like it is. Okay. Alright, and then this piece is going right there, and it's going to line up with the top and bottom of the piece that's on the front. What I just dropped, I think that was the pin for my glue. This piece is not exactly the same height as this piece, but I'm lining up the top. Okay, there we go. All right, and then we're just going to repeat the process on the back. Let's see. That way. Like that. right, there's that one. Let's turn this one around. Okay. Go. Just burnish that a little. Okay, now let's make sure those are nice and flat. And then this piece is going to be lined up with the piece on the spine. Okay. Slide that up a little so you can see it. Careful that you don't lose the orientation, because this is obviously an up and down book, up and down pattern, very directional. You want to make sure you don't have the front and back mixed up, or you don't have the book upside down. Perfect. Like the way that looked. This paper reminds me very much of the table linens from Provence, which always have a lot of borders and things. And so I kind of was playing on that a little bit with this cover. All right, that looks really nice. Okay, now for this inside front cover, I have this piece that I set aside a long time ago, and I may need to trim it. Let's see, yeah, let me just take a hair off the bottom. Yep, that looks good. Doing with this piece is we're going to glue this in place, and then I have the same piece, another piece of the same paper, and we're going to fussy cut this section out and glue it up here to be a tuck spot. And I just want to make sure that that is not going to get caught. Let's get that out of the way. Oh, I didn't put those little red pieces. Okay, we need to put those down too. Okay, let me go ahead and put this down, and then we'll do those. pardon my head if it's in the shot. Okay, let's put those, let's burnish this. We'll put the red pieces down. Then we will do the back, and then we'll come back and do this. Okay, there we go. So these pieces, let me just close this. These just get tucked right up against that edge. Okay, just like that. And just check them for length. You may need to trim. It's hard to cut something this small exactly right. Re-inking that edge where I trimmed it a little bit. Okay, and then let's check the other end. And that also looks just a smidge long. I'm really enjoying working with this paper. The colors are just so pretty. Okay. Love that. Okay. Now, inside back cover, we're going to use the spots. And these are directional, so be careful. Checking to see. I do need to trim it just a little bit. That's better. Okay, go ahead and get that inked. Now, deciding what direction I want to put this down. Okay, so the background text goes this way, so that's how it's going down. With it a little bit, making sure I have it right side up. Okay. Looks good. Papers on the inside front and inside back cover are very, very different from one another, but this one looks really nice with the paper it's against, and this one looks really nice with that, so that's what I went with. And I'm pretty sure that I did drop my pin a few minutes ago, but I have another one. Grab that. Oops, almost stabbed myself with it. Okay, there we go. Now we have this same design, and we're going to fussy cut this out. And actually, I could do this part on my paper trimmer. So why don't I do that first? Save a few cuts by doing it that way. And actually, you know what? Before I cut this, I'm going to glue it to a scrap, just to give it a little more body. Just to make it a little sturdier. Alright, now let's try again. I should wait for that glue to dry before I cut, but I'm not going to. Okay, and then we're just going to glue this right here on top of that one to give us a tuck spot and a little dimension. I'm going to turn it upside down, and I'm just going to glue across the top and just a little bit down here. Just like that. Okay. Go. Okay. All right, so that's good. Now, hopefully it won't catch up too much in that ribbon. No, it should be fine. All right. got a lot done. We got our covers inside and out, and we got our first little tuck spot done. So I think we are at another good stopping place, and we will come back next time and do all of our embellishing. And we'll add some flowers to the cover most likely, and make some side pocket inserts, some tags, and we still need to mat these 2 flaps. So we need to do that, and we will do all of that next time and finish up. All right, I'm going to go ahead and clip this. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying this project. There's a link down below to Country Craft Creations where you can get all the supplies. There will be a link to my blog where you can get the free cut list for this project and many other of my projects. And I guess that is it. So again, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you have, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss my next video. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.